is Jen, the founder of the Blueberry Hill. And for our last question today, we're going to talk about how do you sell your product on sites like Etsy and Amazon, something other than your own personal website?
We do sell on those platforms. It's interesting because I used to sell on Etsy when I was making clothes, or I used to do these little book things that I would sell. But then, Etsy was for handmade. And so they're designed by me, but they are made, they're hand knit by villagers in China, and actually in Jiangsu province, which is known for their hand knitting. It's kind of an interesting story. They're families that are farmers, and they go back and the families knit together. So that's kind of off topic. But Etsy then a few years ago, I don't know, maybe a year or two, they made it so that you can be designed by, but you don't have to be handmade. So at that point was when we started selling on Etsy. Mm-hmm. We don't do a ton of volume on Etsy, but it's nice to be there. And there's a lot of other handmade, but it's getting infiltrated by a lot of overseas people too, where they'll knock off people's products, use your pictures. That's kind of thing that I have a recurring problem with. Amazon is interesting. I know it can be really, really messy, particularly if you're like I am and you sell mostly to retailers, because all the retailers want to throw all their stock up on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And then if you're selling to Amazon, you can't control the pricing. You can have your MAP, which is minimum advertised pricing, but Amazon will do whatever they want. They can take it and sell it for less money. And that's not fair to me. It's not fair to the retailers. And if you're ever in a competition on price, it's a race to the bottom. So we really try to control that. I think it's important to control it. I think it's important to go in, and what we've done is gotten our brand registry so that we can shut down anybody else that's on there. We also have it in our terms of sale to any retailers that we start with, that they're not allowed to sell on Etsy or eBay or Amazon or any third party platform. They can sell on their website,
they can sell on their website,
on their dedicated website, but not on any third-party platform.
So that way you're not competing with your retailers.
Right. Well, and no one's competing with each other, because in that online space, they're competing with their customer base that they've built through their social media and their, customers. So Amazon has been really pretty good for us. It's starting, it's picking up, I think. It's hard, again, because of other people that are on there, but you've got to be able to build the brand and get, a really important thing on Amazon is getting enough sales that you have good feedback on your products. And we're not really at the tipping point there yet, but hopefully we'll start to get there.
How would you get better feedback if that's one of your big spots?
It used to be, a year or two ago, there were all these Facebook groups and all sorts of things that I guess you could put, you'd put product up for sale for free or cheap. And it was basically an exchange for feedback, and people were doing it like crazy. And it was very, it was skewing the data for sure. And then Amazon came out, and there were a lot of websites and companies built up around Amazon feedback, and Amazon came out, I don't know if it was a year or so ago, maybe, and just really changed their terms, and they've shut down all those businesses. I think some might be in existence, but it's good because it's not just fake feedback, because the feedback, I guess, helps you really rise to the top. I'm not an Amazon expert, but I know it's really important. And if I buy something on Amazon as a consumer, I want to read the feedback. I want to know there's good feedback. And if there's no feedback, then I'm less interested in buying it. Yeah. So, I think it's a tipping point on Amazon. You've got to get to where you have enough social proof, enough, positive feedback that people are willing to buy your product.
I'll go buy one. I'll leave a positive review.
Will you do that for me? I'd really appreciate it.
And I think that's also really important, because I've had some friends that have launched their businesses on Amazon, and they're like, John, just go leave a review. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. That isn't going to help you grow. Amazon's going to see it. The other sellers are going to see it, and or people who want to buy your product, and they're going to realize you're not a verified user. So I always, when I want to help my friends out who are launching businesses, I always make sure I purchase it.
That's great. I didn't realize that whole verified seller. I mean, I knew it existed, but I didn't realize that you could totally leave feedback without it. And it's important though. I mean, it really helps you get, and the other thing is, if you have other friends in small businesses, have them go review you on Google or, Yelp, anything, and do the same for them and help build up that image that, at least that people like you. So.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing how to sell products on Etsy and Amazon. And again, this is Jen. She's the founder of the Blueberry Hill. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us this week.
Thanks, John. It's been so good to be here.
And we'll include the links so you can follow her on Instagram. You can see where to buy her products. We'll include some really cool imagery right here below, so you can see how awesome these are and why I want a kid just so I can have these hats.
Oh, you're so great. You know what? I have one more thing I want to throw in there, and this is more to ask your audience than anything. So the one issue I'm having right now is kind of tracking inventory over multiple platforms. There are a lot of expensive, enterprise level things and that can help you track inventory where you sell. It needs to integrate with QuickBooks Online or Shopify, Amazon, Etsy, those types of things. And so if you guys have any tips or any thing, leave them in the comments because I'd love to hear some inventory tracking software that works for you.
Perfect. Yeah, just comment below. And thank you so much for like letting me into your nice home. And
Oh, it's been great.
all right, thanks. You're the best.